With weather gathering, the lights are on here at Houston Raceway Park. I'm Steve Evans along with Dave McClellan, and we are in the final throes of the Fram Supernationals. Just 3 pairs of cars left, Dave.
Steve, in the Pro Stock final, it is Ford versus Oldsmobile. Bob Glidden is in the far lane of the racetrack, not by his choice. Warren Johnson had the quicker elapsed time in the semifinals. He brought his Oldsmobile into the near lane.
16 cars qualified, and as it should be, but often isn't, the 2 quickest cars come down to the final round. And there's an intermake battle as well between the Oldsmobile and the Ford Probe. Who would have ever thought that the Probe would debut with this kind of success?
While Glidden has got the quickest elapsed time of the meet at a 7:27, Warren Johnson has consistently been quicker on race day. Throughout the 4 rounds of eliminations coming to this point, the 4th round, Johnson has had the quicker elapsed times. He had it in the semifinals and took the lane nearest the camera. Glidden, of course, as he told you earlier, Steve, is still sorting out this brand new race car. He thinks there is yet room for improvement.
And another leveler, the reaction times over the day have been almost identical, so neither shows any weakness there.
Under the bright lights of Houston Raceway Park, all eyes of this massive crowd are directed to the starting line for the finals in Pro Stock Eliminator. The drivers getting themselves set, bringing the RPM on these 500 cubic inch engines to their peak, and Glidden's away first. Oh, so close, but Bob Glidden prevails. He wins his 66th NHRA title and clinches his 9th Winston Championship and the $100,000 share of that $1 million payoff. Listen to the times. Bob Glidden ran 7:33. Warren Johnson went 7:31. Remember, as I told you earlier, each lane is timed separately and the clocks do not start until the car leaves the starting line. Bob Glidden left the starting line 0.05 of a second quicker than did Warren Johnson. That means at the finish line, by some 0.03 of a second, Bob Glidden was the winner of the Fram Supernationals, and that was the margin of victory.
What a debut of a brand new race car. But Bob Glidden, you as a driver won this one. Your reaction time, 7:33 yours, 7:31 Warren's.
I knew it was going to be a close race, Steve, and give Warren a second here to get by. He's been a little early, he's been a little late. I told the boys I figured he'd be right on time. We thought it would be a really good race. And, the car come a long way at this race. We've had problems, and it made a nice run in the final.
The only thing it lacked was a little bit of consistency.
That's right, and the last 3 runs has been consistent.
Bob Glidden wins another one. Great job.
The picture of consistency as far as gaining the winner's circle. Bob Glidden has done it 66 times, and now a 9th Winston Championship. There's the point standings after the Supernationals. Warren Johnson in 2nd, Tony Christian in 3rd with 2 races yet to go. Bruce Larson, after a quick word with Mike Dunn, heads to his Oldsmobile Funny Car. We'll be back with the Funny Car finals at the Fram Supernationals in just a moment. The weather is worsening at Houston Raceway Park just outside of Baytown, Texas, as a massive thunderstorm looms on the horizon. But we have only 2 races to complete this Fram Supernationals. Mike Dunn brings Joe Pisano's Funny Car up to the water box, while in the background you see the body coming down on Bruce Larson's Oldsmobile. Mike Dunn, the national speed record holder, has not been close to the 280-mile-an-hour mark today, but more importantly, he has been most consistent in his elapsed time, in the low 540s. In fact, he ran a 5:37 in the semifinals to earn the lane choice over Bruce Larson. The owner of Mike Dunn's Funny Car, Joe Pisano, is a man that has seen all aspects of this sport, from racer car owner to manufacturer.
When the first drag race was held, I don't mean NHRA event, I mean just a bunch of kids getting together somewhere, probably in California. I think, Joe Pisano, you might have been there.
Yeah, it was Santa Ana.
You're serious? You were there?
I was there. I was there on opening day. Ran the dry lakes and towed my car, went and raced for old Pappy.
C.J. Pappy Hart, a legend in his own right. You do this for the fun of it. You do it because you love it.
I do it for the fun, and I love it. And it's good for my business.
Indeed. And what about that young man behind the steering wheel? He's pretty special to you, too, not just as a driver.
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. I've known him probably since he was about 5 years old. And I told him as soon as he got good, he could drive my car.
Well, he certainly did that, and he's won the U.S. Nationals for you, not to mention maybe today.
I hope so. He does, too, so he can make his house payments.
Good luck.
Thank you much.
Joe Pisano with a rather droll sense of humor as he heads into the finals, where his driver, Mike Dunn, goes against Bruce Larson.
You know, David, here we've got a similar circumstance as we did in the Pro Stock Funny. You've got a rate of just about equal on elapsed time, on reaction time. This is a pick-em car race.
Steve, if there is a difference between these two drivers, it is the experience that Bruce Larson has gained over 20 years in competition. Mike Dunn is a second-generation driver. He is the son of a champion driver himself, Jim Dunn. Both cars into the staging beams, and a great start. Mike Dunn wins the Fram Supernationals as Bruce Larson, for some unknown reason, slowed right off the starting line. A great reaction time for both drivers, as you can see. If we look again in replay, it was almost identical starts, but Larson fell back. Right at that point, Mike Dunn pulled ahead and stayed ahead. He had to drive this race car as it used up a good bit of the lane, but he got it back in the center as he crossed the finish line. Mike Dunn, the funny car champion.
What a pleasure it is to welcome into the winner's circle of the inaugural Fram Supernationals a young man who's seen the top of this board and the bottom. Congratulations. Magnificent 540.
Oh, thanks, Steve. I just got to give credit to the crew. I mean, we didn't want to get too greedy. We felt that we went back and repeated that we had a good shot at, and that's what we did. And the crew did a great job. I can't say enough for the JP1 Oldsmobile. We had a little trouble first round, broke a transmission. Went flawless the rest of the day.
I asked car owner Joe P. if he had a lot of desire to win this, and he said, yep, he's got house payments to make.
Well, that's right. I got my little girl. She isn't here today, Samantha. She had to start kindergarten this week, so my wife and little girl couldn't be here. But, I mean, this is what it's all for them. I mean, this is what it's all about. This is great. Just makes it that much better. Joe Pisano, Gary Slusher, Frank Pisano, Jim Rickard, the rest of the crew. I can't say enough. This is great.
You don't have any sponsors to thank. We don't have to worry about that.
JP1 Oldsmobile and Valvoline. That's it.
Mike Dunn, great driver, great guy.
And our congratulations to Mike Dunn for his sterling victory here at the Fram Supernationals. And what a race we have for the Winston Funny Car Crown. Kenny Bernstein leading Mark Oswald by less than 100 points. 2 races yet to go. We have 1 race remaining here at Houston Raceway Park. As the storm clouds get closer, our finalists in Top Fuel are getting ready.
This is ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
If you were to poll this partisan Texas crowd here at Houston Raceway Park tonight, you might just find that the man in the yellow car, Eddie Hill, ranked right up there with Sam Houston as one of their all-time heroes.
The story of the man from Wichita Falls could well have been developed in Hollywood. It is a scriptwriter's dream to bring Eddie Hill to this point to race against Joe Amato in the finals of the Fram Supernationals. For a man who was ready to go home on Saturday after he had blown up 3 engines in consecutive runs, to reach the finals is an incredible achievement. But in doing so, he also established a new national record of 4.990 second elapsed time. Racing against him is a man that is only a heartbeat or less away from that 4-second zone. Joe Amato has a 5.00 second elapsed time to his credit. As these two drivers and crews prepared their race cars for this final confrontation, Steve had a chance to drop by Joe Amato's pit area and compare the two teams and how they get their cars ready for such a race.
All 8 pistons have come out of Joe Amato's motor. There's nothing wrong with them. They'll race again. But that is the way Tim Richards and crew operates. Leave nothing to chance. 8 new pistons, probably new bearings. They'll check everything from the camshaft to the clutch to the rear end. No longer is there a transmission to have to worry about. Now, over in Eddie Hill's pits, a totally different attitude. Their motto is,
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All they're going to do is take the oil pan off. Fuzzy Carter under the car will check all of the bearings. The bearings give him indicators whether he should take the heads off or not. They really feel they're better to leave them motor together and maybe not make a mistake that could be costly on the starting line with a leak.
After they found the problem they had in qualifying, that technique, the philosophy of if not broken, don't fix it, has certainly paid off for Eddie Hill. Consistently the quickest series of elapsed times throughout elimination.
Absolutely. 5:03, 5:04, 5:05, 4:99. An anxious moment there. Fuzzy Carter thought he saw something on the engine. He reassures Eddie that everything is okay as Ursi brings the yellow car in the near lane.
In the far lane, Joe Amato dropping his face mask down on the helmet as he approaches the staging beams. This is the Top Fuel final. Amato up in smoke. Quickest elapsed time in history, 4.93 seconds. Fuzzy Carter celebrates. The entire starting line has gone crazy. The whole crowd is cheering the Texan, Eddie Hill, who has just established the quickest elapsed time in the history of drag racing. As we look again, Amato had a very slight advantage at the start, but instantly the clutch locked up, the tires started smoking, and Eddie Hill was long gone for the finish line. In replay again, you can see Joe Amato just a fraction of a second ahead of Eddie Hill. And then Hill streaking across the finish line to a 4.93 second elapsed time. His speed over 283 miles an hour. Fuzzy Carter, Janet Carter, Ursi Hill, the entire crew. Listen to the cheers in the background. They go down to pick up the Fram Supernationals champion and the quickest man in drag racing, Eddie Hill.
They may have to rebuild the grandstands at the brand new Houston Raceway Park. The Texans fans are tearing them down. 493.
93?
Got it.
Good Lord. But I outran myself. That's not a record, is it? It's too quick for a record.
Oh, but hey, it's a record in our hearts, let me tell you.
93.
We are a mile away. You can still hear the crowd.
Hear 'em down here.
Ursi has got them whipped into a frenzy.
I bet she does. They, Fuzzy and them are working till 3 or 4 o'clock every night this week trying to get this deal sorted out.
Yesterday, you went to the press room and you said, I want it released that Eddie Hill is going home. It was impossible we could be talking like this.
Well, I didn't really say that exactly. I said it looks like at this point we're going to have to. I didn't want to do that. So that was stretched a little bit, but I thought it was true at the time.
Magnificent.
Oh.
I shake that hand.
Such a deal. Man.
Joe Amato. You heard the time, Joe?
4:90. I was pulling down the track slow, and I saw it at 93 on the board. Tough to beat. Spectacular run. Spectacular.
All right. Wow. What a 24 hours it has been for this man, his crew, and for all of us watching these exploits. And here, we can hear the horn honking. I think Ursi took a little time up there to get the crowd a little more whipped up than they already were.
An incredible climax to this inaugural Fram Supernationals. The runner-up finish by Joe Amato in the TRW Special advances his lead by just a couple of 100 points more over Darrell Gwynn in the search for the Winston Top Fuel Championship. For Steve Evans, I'm Dave McClellan saying so long from Houston Raceway Park. The 1988 NHRA Fram Supernationals has been brought to you by Goodyear Eagle Tires. Goodyear, because there really is a difference. And by Fram Bendix Autolite, which are all quality products of Allied Automotive. And by Quaker State Motor Oil. New Quaker State with QSX keeps engines cleaner to last longer. The NHRA Supernationals has been a presentation of Diamond P Sports.